Hi guys, it's Dave from MTG Safe Spot here with my deck pick of my Dragonlord-Atarka Dragon deck. Okay guys, we're back here with the cards. We're gonna start off with the dragons of the deck. So let's go right here. So we have Dragonlord-Atarka, flying and trample, 8/8 for 7. When Dragonlord-Atarka enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose between any number of target creatures and/or planeswalkers your opponents control. This is the main card in my deck. It is a very good card in my deck. It's pretty rare that I get this card. I used to have a card called Sarkhan's Triumph in this deck, but it just took up a spot and I never knew which dragon it took to take from it. So I just decided to take that out. So yes, I'll only read this card out. But all the others I'll just leave a tiny space for so you can read it yourselves. Okay, so we have Dragonlord-Atarka, Atarka World Render. Okay, we have 3 of those. We have Full Razor Regent. We have 2 of those. We have Skyship Stalker from the new set Kaladesh. Also, 2 more of those. Harbinger of the Hunt. This is the foil from the intro pack, as you can see right there. This was the card that started out my dragon deck. I bought the intro pack when I was new to Magic, and I've just been expanding from that deck ever since, and it's become my first and oldest and favorite deck. But Harbinger of the Hunt. We have 2 more of those. And then we have the final dragon in my deck, Savage Ventmaw. And we have 3 of those. So those are the dragons of my deck. Next, we will go to the other creatures of my deck. We have Xenagos, God of Revels. He's the god of my deck. He's the colors, obviously. But he's really good in this deck, especially with high-powered creatures like Dragonlord-Atarka, because if you use his ability, +X/+X, where X is that creature's power, Dragonlord-Atarka would become a 16/16 with haste from him, flying and trample. That would be insane. Okay, so we have Xenagos, God of Revels. Surik, the Hunt Caller. Dragon Master Outcast. And the last other creature in my deck, Dragonlord Serpent. This is really, really useful. I'm sad that I only have 1 of these, but yeah, it's a really good card from my deck. It makes all dragons cost 1 less. That is really good, especially for only 2 mana. So those were the only other creatures. Well, other creatures except for mana ramp creatures. These are the mana ramp creatures that we'll get into next. We have Rattleclaw Mystic. Now, you'll notice that he taps for blue. I have cards in this deck that also tap for blue, and I have cards in this deck that require blue. And they are really good for this deck, and you'll see why a little bit later. So, Rattleclaw Mystic. We have 3 of those. We have Jorga Tree Speaker. Now, if I didn't mention it before, this is from Rise of the Eldrazi. This is not a standard deck. This is a casual deck. It is very fun to play. It's sad that most of the cards in here got rotated out recently. A lot of it was already out. But, yeah, like Khans, where Rattleclaw Mystic is from, Dragons, yeah, they were all good sets. Too bad they were rotated out. But, Jorga Tree Speaker. Zerta Druid. An Elvish Mystic. I have 3 of those. So those are the mana wrap. Next is the Planeswalkers. So, the foil shiny pre-release Arlen Cord is, I want to say the first Planeswalker I put into this deck. It's really good. I will flip it over because it is a flip Planeswalker. So this is its front side, Arlen Cord, and on the other side, I'm not gonna put in this sleep. Arlen Embraced by the Moon. Now, I love this emblem. This is a really good emblem, especially, again, with Dragonlord Atarka. Because that's 8 damage that you can't block and can't prevent. Well, you could possibly prevent. But, yeah. It's really, really good for this deck. Yeah, and then creatures I control get +1/+1 and trample. That's also really good for the creatures I have in here that don't have trample. But, yes, it starts off with 3 loyalty. Its ultimate is -6. It's a good Planeswalker for this deck. Next, the Xenagos before he became a god. Xenagos the Reveler. This is really good, especially for mana ramp. And then his ultimate is also really good. His 0 cost I don't really care for. It's not really good in this deck, but if I needed a creature or a blocker or something, I could use it. So yes, that is a pretty good card for this deck. And then Sarkhan Unbroken, one of the cards that tap for blue that is really good for this deck, because if you read his ultimate, search your library for any number of dragon creature cards and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If you counted, here 1 second, I'll put that down. Dragon cards. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 dragons. Well, I do have these dragons, but I can only have one of these legendary creatures out on the battlefield at a time. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 dragons out on the field at once from Sarkhan Unbroken's ultimate ability. And he has the +1, draw a card, then add one mana of any color to your mana pool. Again, that extra mana could be really useful, especially for cards like the ones I'm about to show you. I have 2 Sarkhan Unbrokens. So those are the Planeswalkers of this dragon deck, which are a key part of this deck. Next are the instants. I do not have any sorcerers in this deck, but I do have instants. I have a foil shiny Atarka's Command. I have 2 of those. And then I have the one of my last instant, second last instant, Dragonic Roar. It's a pretty good card for this deck. Nothing too special, but yeah, it's okay. It's 3 to a creature and 3 to a player, so yeah. Now for the enchantments. Temur Ascendancy, another card that taps for blue. Creatures you control have haste. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. That's a good card for this deck because all of my dragons have power 4 or greater. A couple of my creatures have power with 4 or greater. And, yeah. Outpost Siege. This is a good enchantment for this deck. I rarely ever play the dragon's ability. I usually only play the cons. For the sole reason of being able to play a card that was on the top of my library. If I don't use it, it's exiled. But, yeah. If it's a land, I can just play the land. If it's a creature or an enchantment or something, I can easily play that. So, yeah, I have so much lands and stuff in here that you'll see in a second. I'm not going to show you the basics. I'll show you the random lands. Not random. Whatever. Sight of the Scale Lords. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Creatures with toughness 4 or greater get +2/+2 and vigilance until end of turn. This is very good combo with Arlen Cord's ultimate ability, because they can attack without tapping, deal for a ton of damage, and that +2/+2 is there for the end of the turn, so they deal the damage from the attack without tapping, then they tap with the +2/+2 and deal the damage to the opponent, dealing a ton of damage to your opponents. And then Berserker's Onslaught. This is a good card. It's giving all my attacking creatures double strike. That is very good. Very good. Good combo with this. Yes, those are my enchantments for the deck. Now, for the non-basic lands, we have 3 of the same land. Frontier Bivouac. I've never been able to pronounce this card. It's a... If anyone can tell me how to pronounce it down in the comments, that would be very helpful. But, this is another one of those cards that tap for Temur colors. They are, other than the Rattleclaw Mystic, they are good cards to have in the deck. Fairly cheap, too. They're like 99 cents for a set of 4. So yes, and then we have the basic lands, forests, and mountains. I don't have any islands because I only have 3 cards that tap for blue. There's no sense in putting islands in here. So, yeah. Alright guys, that was it for the deck tech. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. If you didn't, leave a comment telling me how I could improve. Thank you for watching. See you next time.